Warnings up in and around the D.C. area. I want to take you in a little bit closer here on this particular one. This is from Montgomery County until 2:45, so north of D.C. proper here, looking at very high rainfall rates. And this is really now really starting to pop throughout the whole area, not just here, but also south of this area. Now in Washington, D.C. as well. And this is going to go all afternoon. 3:45, you're under the gun for some very heavy rain here in D.C. Also, Prince George's County, that includes you in Berwyn, Chilham, and Washington. So already seeing, which is kind of disturbing here, already seeing some very heavy rain with more heavy rain to come throughout the afternoon. So the ground is already going to be very saturated here, and it's certainly going to be an issue out on the roadways. Also, Alexandria, Fairfax, and Falls Church, you're under a flash flood warning now until 2:30 in the afternoon. Again, the afternoon commute here in these areas, which are highly congested to begin with, they're just going to be pretty miserable. So unfortunately, it's a Friday and we're dealing with a lot of factors here in terms of getting out of town and so forth. These are the 1-hour rainfall accumulations. Radar estimated, of course, but here this is in and around the D.C. area, looking at 1.3 inches or so already. And then here 2.4 inches as we head up I-270 into Rockville. So certainly anywhere from Baltimore back down into D.C., we're looking at some pretty nasty weather moving your way. So here we have it, those storms extending throughout the evening and into the night. And then it looks like we will see things improve by Saturday evening. That low should be offshore, so we're looking much better. Total rain forecast, though. Now, this is very disturbing, looking at maybe 8 inches or so of rain just to the northwest of Washington, D.C. So that is certainly going to be causing some major problems in terms of the flooding. Emergency responders already preparing for the deluge here from Baltimore back down into D.C. As I mentioned, much of Maryland, Virginia, all going to be looking at very hairy 24 hours in terms of the rainfall. If we look at Baltimore, D.C., some of the pockets coming through, look at this. I mean, this is not just a quick hitter. We've got more rain coming all afternoon, all evening here. This is 8 o'clock, still looking at heavy rain. And then this is midnight. Look at this heavy rain, the oranges and the reds you see showing up here right on the doorsteps of our nation's capital. This is going to be a problem, folks, and we're going to keep you out ahead of this to try to keep you safe. We're going to talk more about the flooding. 27 million people under an alert. Plus, we do have also the possibility of more rain on the heels of this batch. All right, taking you in now to Washington, not only in the mid-Atlantic, but also in the south, where a lot of that humidity is really going to get squashed out of there. So it's going to feel pretty nice, not only as we get through the weekend, but beyond. Places like Nashville tomorrow, 84 degrees, and we're looking at mid-80s throughout much of the south as well. Atlanta, a little bit below average, your average 89 degrees, so 86 on Sunday. But what's interesting is when you take a look at the dew points, right? The dew points are going to be much more comfortable. So we've been dealing with the 70s here across the south, right? This is that oppressive air you can wear, really muggy, nasty stuff. But what happens is we take a look here at our future radar here for our future forecast, rather, for dew points. We start to see a lot of those 70s move into the 60 range, maybe even the 50s here. Places like St. Louis, you guys really deserve this break, right? 58 dew point, that's going to feel really nice, really cool and refreshing for you by the time we get Sunday into Monday. So things are looking up in terms of those temperatures. Well, you've probably heard the phrase, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and that's especially true when working in the worst weather conditions. That's why first response team leader Tad Agolia handpicks every member of his team. And today we are meeting his newest team member. Being a target later on this evening, Pittsburgh certainly in line for some heavy rain for you. Looking at those storms developing and lightly moving in the afternoon, evening hours, but even into late evening, still expecting that heavy rain to be coming into the Pittsburgh area. By Saturday, we do start to see the improvements there. How much rain? Could be another couple of inches here in Pittsburgh, in and around the area in general, where you see the green on the map. That's about an inch of rain or so, but certainly some localized heavier pockets of rain near Johnstown here, maybe upwards of 3 inches or so. so of rain. This is ending Sunday morning. So the bulk of it again coming in tonight into the late night, even overnight hours. We start to see some improvements Saturday into Saturday evening. As we time this out, this is a look at the afternoon. You'll notice here at 6 o'clock, certainly some pockets of heavy rain just to the north of you in Pittsburgh. But then likely by the time we get around 9, 10 o'clock, and then look at midnight here. This is very concerning when we look at Washington, D.C. This big batch of rain likely moving in right around the midnight hour.
Rain, it's also about what happens at the beaches.
It's a big problem. We're going into the weekend right now. It's still summer. A lot of people are trying to get into the water, and this is what we're going to be dealing with here from Chatham, Mass, out into the Hamptons, really all the way down into Myrtle Beach. We're looking at either small craft advisories or gale watches, so very blustery conditions, and the water is going to be churning as well. This system is just not typical for this time of year. Normally we would see something like this more like in the fall or winter. Nonetheless, with all of the water and all of the gusty winds here, large waves, beach erosion, minor coastal flooding, all very likely. But we're also worried about rip currents, right? A lot of people getting in the water. We've got a lot of these ingredients really coming together, including the tidal cycles. We've got the waves that are coming perpendicular to the shore with that low onshore winds, and then the shape of the coastline there, also the depth of the water being all big factors when it comes to rip currents. The wind field with this is very large, okay? So we've got big time winds coming all along the East Coast here and into New England, anywhere up to say 35, 40 mile per hour gusting winds, even in places like Atlantic City. And this goes through Saturday and then even into Sunday, Monday. Just because it says light winds here does not mean we could not see still some rip current issues in and along these coastal areas. So you're going to be tempted to want to get in the water after this, Mark, but it's not a good idea to do.